that he has ADHD, which I find very funny. As a fellow Adahita Brigade member, maybe it's
really
not
racist. I'm gonna make it bigger.
But it seems to be something that he hopes.
I don't know if I said this, but my art teacher,
it's a bit sensitive to him, so he doesn't tell.
My old art teacher, he said I draw really small.
Like
and to be fair, I did, and I still do.
That was the case anyways. Catherine visits Freddie's house, which is suspiciously.
I don't know why I guess. I guess mostly just for TikTok.
Like
I guess.
A woman
I used to make a lot of
or did live here not long ago. Like that bedspread. More about Maria and Tom figuring out each other, like how to understand each other in their lives. Primarily cultural differences with her family. Like PDA is not a big thing in front of her family. It would come off as very offensive and not like the loving gesture that I think he would want it to be. He ends up meeting her siblings and her mom. They seem happy, but definitely concerned, understandably, about how quickly everything is moving, the process. You know, it's not very conventional by any means. There's tears and emotions, especially around Maria's father not being able to be there because of his passing. But all in all, it does seem like they seem open to Tom and willing.
I need to put a timer on for my pizza.
So, Kat meets Freddie's family.
Why did I look up Target?
Very, very sweet. And he goes up to his brother and asks him to be his best man. And that was, I watered up a little bit. I was like, argh. But his sister does seem, I was trying to put my finger on who she looks like.
Open the door, please. Open the door.
Very pretty woman. Very, very.
What was I gonna look up?
She pulls him to the side.
Shit.
And like kind of vocalizes.
Damn, fuck. What was I gonna look up?
About everything checking in because he doesn't seem to be like behaving like himself. He seems very reserved and not his like normal, fun-loving, goofy self. And
no, wait. What was I gonna look up?
Into, like the serious conversation of whether or not he feels like he's enough for her.
A timer
like, well,
for my pizza.
Enough for you. Have you considered?
Do I have ADHD? I don't think I have ADHD.
Fair. Episode 8. So this is right before they're gonna do the meetup with everybody that was in the pods, even the people that didn't end up in relationships. And right before that, Benaya talks to Nicole. They bring
20
up
minutes?
How he has a lot of like reservations about seeing Sam for the first time since the pods. Again, he does not have.
That should be good. 20 minutes.
Vibe associated with him. He thinks he's disingenuous, and his
looking up Dairy Queen.
Is that Nicole is
French
going
soap
to
pie,
have the
Oreo fudge brownie,
eyes and
with the caramel truffle, pumpkin pie.
And Nicole is like, you have nothing to worry
what's
about.
Java? Caramel Java cheese? Reese's Pieces cookie dough.
I want to just close that chapter, give him.
This may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think pie should be an ice cream,
at all.
And hard candy shouldn't be either. To be like M&M's and Reese's Pieces, those should not be an ice cream because they freeze really hard and it just hurts biting into.
How much he dislikes Sam. So I don't know if it's just him being like unreasonably combative in the sense of like this man is a non-factor at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Or is it like something really heinous was happening off camera? Like what was he saying in the pod?
This might be.
Or in the men's
Ooh, this is gonna be.
I'm
going to be racist. Where's my big eraser? Because I don't have my big eraser anymore.
Yes, we end up having the
ears are like really big, so I gotta.
About how him
and I want them to be in the corner anyways. I should have started.
They had gone out to brunch or breakfast or something, and she had offered to pay, and he's like, "Oh, thank you." And then after that, she got very like sullen and quiet. And when he goes to inquire what's wrong, she essentially says,
"Hello, Nika.
Like, I can't believe you let me pay because like if my mom saw you letting me pay, she would be like very upset, like especially in this early part of our relationship." And I'm like, what? Like, one, why the did you offer?
No, yeah.
Why are you offering to pay bills that you don't want to pay? Like, that's stupid. Why did you do it? Also, sure, this is technically the beginning of your relationship, but you're engaged. Y'all skipped so many steps. So, like, I don't understand. There's not an initial courtship stage where, like, oh, it's a first date and I want you to pay for the first date. Which, I mean, I think I agree. Like, the first date, I think
my day's going
probably
good.
Should pay. I don't know why. It's definitely culture norms. But in the set of culture norms and how men seem to understand it under patriarch, there is something understandably perceived as rude to not do so on the first date. Like, don't get me wrong. I've done the little, like, reaching for my wallet. Like, oh, let me reach for my wallet. Oh. But, like, if y'all in a relationship, this is every day. You expect him to pay for things every day? Also, again, why the did you offer if you don't?
No, yeah. That's the part that's messing up. Why offer?
And he's really thrown off because he's like, the way that my mom raised me, she would have been like deeply offended if a man wanted to pay for everything all the time. It feels very like minimalizing and belittling to her. So I'm like kind of shocked with these very like stark gender roles that she seems to have, Maria. And he'll kind of talk about this later. Like,
these ears are big enough. Am I gonna have
about that being the environment that I raise kids. Anyway, everybody from the pods comes together.
I might have to.
Damn it! This is where people
to make this look cool, I'm gonna have to draw the head smaller.
I've never seen in person yet. Notably, one girl who they show a lot.
Oh, the stupid fucking eraser
on camera. Really, her name is.
I need to get a stand for my phone because this is tiring.
She's very pretty, and that seems to be the common understanding.
Yeah, it looks good. It's just the ears are so big.
She's very, very pretty. Well, she is.
And I don't think I quite understood that.
Kind of makes it feel like this ends up becoming
especially
like a
proportionate to the body.
Conversation piece, especially amongst all the men. Like, oh, you've seen another attractive girl. Are you still wanting to get married to the woman you're betrothed to? And one guy goes up to Ollie and essentially asks, like, yeah, you don't feel a little different now that you've seen other women? Which is what the f***? He's like, yeah, they're pretty, but like, no. Like, this is the woman I love and want to marry. Like, I'm not concerned about other people. Like, what? But it ends up becoming like a bit of a conversation between Kat and Freddie, where he remarks about, yeah, I think she's pretty. And I guess he brings it up twice, which is something that really bothers her. Again, this is another thing. We can't just admire that are attractive. Does it always have to be some like deeper meaning? Can not just be attractive? Because as I was understanding it, he wasn't saying it like, ooh, I'm just trying to, you know, it was very much so like the sky is blue, grass is green, and Charlotte is attractive. Like, okay, it's no like intentionality behind it. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I think she's pretty. Yeah, she's pretty. But Catherine takes it to her ego, obviously, and she's kind of like, how do you think that would make me feel? And I'm like, I don't know. How would it make you feel? I don't. And especially because, as he brings up, when Sam makes his appearance for the first time, she ends up seeing him, and apparently he looks a lot like her ex. And so that's something that she says repeatedly. I was like, oh my God, he looks like my ex. He looks like my ex. Oh my God. And he's like, well, you brought up how Sam looks like your ex like 48 times, but I'm not over here sweating about it. Speaking of Sam, when he gets there, he tries to go up to Benaya pretty much immediately, and Benaya is not interested in talking at all. Also, Sam kind of just ignores, essentially, Nicole, doesn't greet her or anything, and this rubs Benaya the wrong way as well. He goes up to Benaya and offers to chat, and he pretty much declines outright. But later, Sam does end up going up to Nicole, and it's very awkward, and it's very confusing and weird, honestly, the conversation. But it felt like a lot of her just trying to placate him, like, here's your ring, here's your bracelet, I did care for you in the pods, I did love you in the pods, but when we left, it just didn't feel right. He ends up bringing up how, essentially, is it because
now, what did I do to make these two eyes not match?
She wanted to initiate a physical connection, have sex. I don't know why I said it so clinical like that. And he did not want to. He wanted to be a gentleman. I don't know how that makes you more of a gentleman, but okay. Especially when you're engaged. Again, what are you talking about? This brought to my attention because somebody brought this up and I didn't even notice this last night. But when they meet for the first time, like out of the pods, they don't kiss. He does not kiss her, which is weird. No, I don't know. Anyway, but she's like, I just didn't feel it. It didn't work out. Here's your ring. Here's your bracelet. And they seem to end, you know, on amicable terms. Fine, whatever. But even despite that, Benaya can't seem to let that shit go. He's like, I don't like the idea that you came back and you're just like, oh, he's a nice enough guy, whatever. Like, he's not a nice enough guy. Like, I know how he was like in the men's quarters and I really don't like him. And she's like, I don't care about him. Like, he's a non-factor in anything I feel about our relationship. Let it go. I'm not, like, I don't give a fuck about him. Let it go. I burned the ever-living shit out of my thumb yesterday. Gnarly, dude. Can you see it? Yeah. My battle scars. Meanwhile, Catherine ends up talking with Sam, again, who she has admitted over and over looks like her ex. And she honestly is a bit flirty. And again, I am very pro giving pretty people the benefit of the doubt. They might not be flirting with you. They might just be pretty.
What I've noticed, the best thing to do is just to
she is definitely flirting.
Do both eyes at the same time.
He ends up showing her,
which is what I did. I just can't get this pupil right.
Like, oh, this is the
I think maybe because I made this eye not big enough.
Knuckle duster, which I looked it up, apparently is a brass knuckles. What does that mean? Like, like, the diamond's so small, but it doesn't even have one type thing. She was like, this is the ring I wanted. And she's like, yeah, next time when you're in London, like, we should hang out or whatever.
I wonder if it's like, made the eye too long, and that's why they look
I've never
weird.
cheated. I've never cheated. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Should I angle the eye up more?
Tom and Natasha talk, and again, reminder, this is the first time they've ever seen each other in person. I also recall that this was the other lady that he had a connection with in the pods, but he broke up with her saying that he didn't feel any sexual, like, romantic feelings towards her. They definitely had something that was more platonic. But it seems upon meeting, they do have a bit of, like, a flirtatious thing going on, and again, engaged to Maria. I don't get the sense that Natasha is really crossing any boundaries per se. She's just kind of like, you know, I think you're an amazing person. I really enjoyed getting to know you. I meant it when I said I fell in love with you. And again, it could just be how it's edited, but it ends up turning into like, yeah, I'm on the fence with Maria. I'm on the fence with Maria. He speaks so tight like this because, you know, we're 2 weeks away from the wedding and there's still so much that obviously we still don't know about each other and we still need to work out to feel comfortable enough to be married, you know. Benaya and Sam talk kind of, but at least the way it's edited, Benaya definitely comes in hot. He's like, I think you're disingenuous and I think you came in with ill intentions and I really care about Nicole, so I won't let you essentially disrespect her. And it starts getting heated, going back and forth, yada yada yada. And Sam ends up saying something along the lines of like, you know that she wanted to sleep with me the first night, right? And I told her no. I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. And Benaya is like, okay, another situation in which you are openly disrespecting her to me. Idiot. I think that's pretty fair because why did you tell him that? Like, what? So after the event is over, the next day, Tom and Maria talk. He brings up Natasha.
This does not look like how I wanted.
And I don't know if he misremembers, misrepresents, or maybe there's like an edit that we didn't see. But he basically tells Maria that Natasha came up to him and was like, I love you, which is not what happened. At least what we saw. She was definitely more so saying like, you know, I cared about you in the pods, which, you know, was fine. And like, I fell in love with you there. And I think you're a great person. I didn't get the sense that she was trying to, they were kind of flirtatious. There was definitely a chemistry there. But I don't know if she was outright trying to start something. She was like,
I think a buzz cut would have looked better, but
you seem happy with Maria,
I need to hide the mistakes.
and I want that for you because I care about you. And you seem happy with Maria, so enjoy that. That's how I understood it. He kind of brings it to her as if she came up to declare her love for him. And it's like, that's not what happened. Why the fuck you lying? You sing it. I don't feel like singing it right now. Ollie meets Demi's family, and that goes really well. I really like the way Ollie handled that. He seemed to pull Dad to the side and really talk to him about how he wants to reassure him, especially because that's your youngest daughter, that's your baby girl, and I know how close you guys are together, so I want to like reassure you that I love her and she's in good hands, and I want to answer any questions that you might have of me. And again, I really liked him doing that. I thought that was really cool. I haven't talked about Sabrina and Steven much because they must be happy. There's nothing to show. They meet her family in Ireland and that goes well, but it does seem that they have a bit, you know, some reservations because again, this is all going so fast, but that's to be expected, no more than you would expect anybody else.
Good night, Nika.
And the episode ends with Freddie, the cousins, Freddie and Kat, having a conversation in which they kind of talk about how they don't know how ready they are for marriage yet, specifically Freddie, because she's very snappy at him. And she's like, well, I care about you enough to assess it and change so that things are good. And he's like, well, it's easy to change those things for the 2 weeks before we get married. But like, I mean, this is important, like fundamentally, how we get on, how we get on, and how we make like the basis of our relationship and the problems that we'll have, and we don't know how to handle any of that. He ends the episode saying that how would she feel if he had a prenup? Now, I don't know if I've said this in videos. I feel like something I would have said in a video, but I have no problem with prenups. I actually think they're a very smart and very considerate thing to do when going into marriage, because it's not just like, you keep your shit and I keep my shit. It's a contract on what to do when the relationship ends in whatever way it ends. Because shit, if it's not a divorce, it could be in death. Someone dies. We have a prenup to say what happens in regards to like wills and stuff like that. People's items, where does it go, yada yada yada. Sometimes it helps in regards to if one spouse had a lot of debt and that surviving spouse doesn't have to pay it now. You know, shit like that. Kind
what am I listening
like
to?
Legal and like who gets what,
Kenny
where
JD,
it goes, and
her newest
so
video.
things can be done as amicably
I
as
don't
possible
know
and
what
smoothly
to
as
draw.
possible. But I don't know, I guess a lot of people will think of it as like, you're thinking of the end of the marriage before we've even started. It's like, no, it's just, I think it's being more considerate of it. Letting all of the like money and financial and the like things that can get in the way of the focus being on we want to be together. We're not going in to break up and get these things or whatever. It's the focus is us being together, and if we do part at some place, regardless of how sad or whatever it would be, we'll both be taken care of. And that's something that we've thought about, understanding and hoping that we'll never have to do those things, but it's just being smart. Like, I don't understand, like, why people feel, like, some people think of it as very controlling. And I'm like, well, it shouldn't just be one person making the prenup. I think it should be two people considering what they want from the relationship. Anyway, that's my whole diatribe about prenups. But I will say, at least how this is edited, I would have a problem with how he does this, because essentially he says, I want a prenup so that in the case that I die, you get nothing and everything goes to my sister. Hello? Why? I can't get a dime? I'm your widow. I can't get nothing? What the f? And he's like, are you cool with that? And I would be like, no, I'm not cool with that. The f? And at this point, this is where I'm very much so at. He does not want to marry you. And I think to some degree, she knows that too. But, like, what do you mean? I'm your wife. Hello? Jesus. Anyway, episode 9. More meeting family. I don't care. Oh, Nicole meets Benaya's mother and sister who came in from Germany. And it would seem that this is going to be particularly emotionally taxing, because after her breakup with him first, when she first picked Sam, he went back to his family, and apparently the breakup had really crushed him. It like really hit him hard. And so his family had never seen him like that. And so, you know, understandably, they're a little like, this girl that hurt my brother who hurt my son. I'm like, who is this chick, you know? But, you know, Nicole handles that with understanding and empathy. Like, I do understand where I need to take some accountability, assuage any fears of his, of yours, because at the end of the day, this is the person that I want to be with. And ultimately, the family that I will be accepted into. Ultimately, it ends up going well, though, but yeah. More meeting family. Maria meets Tom's sisters. Freddie meets Catherine's parents. Freddie meets Catherine's friends. I will say, as we're going along, Freddie does not seem happy or excited. There's a lot of him saying like he has a lot of concerns about her difference in lifestyle. She seems to be very outgoing, wants to go to clubs and da 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 da. Might be a bit materialistic, according to him. And he's a homebody. He's not really very social and outgoing like that. And it concerns him that he'll, like, their lifestyles will be able to mesh. And again, I just think this is another situation where he's just trying to figure out a reason to not marry her. You just don't want to marry her ass. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Bobby and Jasmine. We haven't talked about them a lot because, honestly, as the show goes on, I don't find Bobby has any personality. Like, it doesn't seem like they really show much of him. And I guess, you know, ultimately, Jasmine seems to be a bit controlling and he's cool with being controlled. That's the vibe I get. So, they like it, I love it. But this is going to be the situation in which he ends up meeting her mother, who is flown in from
nothing I draw seems good.
And
then I don't have any motivation to draw because nothing I draw seems good.
It shows where she gets
so I'm just like, even some of these, I don't like that one.
And just
That one's
straight up
fine.
disregard.
Don't like that one.
And takes protective to the
Place
place of like intrusive, arguably kind of abusive. Like Jasmine is a ton of stories about her childhood where her mom like went through her phone, and if there was a boy in it, she would call them and block them and say never talk to my child again. And she's doing background checks on every man that she's ever dated, and that she'll say hurtful things, but you know that's just how she is. She also has a history, as she'll talk about later, of having 2 failed marriages, and that combined with, you know, Jasmine's history of
moving
infidelity,
this so I can get my color
why
pencils.
those marriages ended. Perhaps that was also some cases of infidelity. It would seem that in that process they've created this relationship that is, I don't know if
holy shit, here's my pens.
Definitely with the mom being too much in my eraser business. See where she gets it from. And during this, Jasmine does want to articulate, like, pencil, you know, if I'm getting married, you can't keep overstepping. I can't tell you everything. Like, I can't tell you every argument we have. Like, oh, he didn't put the dishes up. Like, I'm not going to tell you an argument we had over a dishwasher. And mom is like, no, you need to tell me everything. I am your best friend. And she's also really judgy to his face. Like, this is wild to say, but she's like,
I colored this a little bit ago.
Like, oh, I didn't finish university. And she's like, and Jasmine is like, not everyone needs to go to university to make a career for themselves. But Jasmine's mom is like, yes, but it's very hard to communicate with an uneducated person.
Oh, damn.
Which, as a person who went to a very annoying college that is very, like, up its own ass about how prestige it is and how intelligent everyone is that goes to it, there are so many people that can't communicate worth shit that go there but know how to do math. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that is not how that works at all. Okay, they do the dresses and the suits, don't give about that. And then that's basically the end of the episode. So I guess we should do our guesses, right? So I have written down that I think that
what does a braid look like?
Will say yes. Ollie and Demi will say yes.
Sort of forgot about that.
And Maria will say yes, but
hair, this is why I hate doing hair. It takes forever.
Jasmine and Bobby, yes, but he'll regret it. Freddie and Kat, no from Freddie, because that is not, he does not want to get married. It's like blaring.
Here's my eraser. Not my eraser.
Nicole, no. I have no sign for why. I just don't feel it personally. Okay, so episode 10.
Excuse
this episode, I don't really have much to say. They have the bachelorette parties that are really dumb, and nobody cares about that. Nothing juicy happens.
And I get famous on YouTube.
They have it. And they go over to the first wedding, which is Sabrina and Steven. They barely went on screen. They got married.
I didn't mean to do that.
Shocker. I'm not shocked. I definitely saw that one coming. Maria and Tom. Notably, Tom's mom couldn't come. Well, not that she couldn't come. She didn't come to the wedding. That sucks. Apparently, she's just not supportive of any of this. But they get up there, and I genuinely thought they were gonna go for it. But Tom ends up saying no because essentially we haven't had enough time. It just seems like they had a lot of just views that fundamentally they haven't fleshed out, which is, I think it's fair. I'd rather you say that than get married and you knew you weren't ready. Anyway, episode 11. This episode starts with Demi and Ollie's
I'm just checking out my computer.
Weirdly enough, Demi says no. I did not expect that. It was very funny when she said no, though, because he looked at her, not angry, but like cartoonishly like, huh? Why? And that shit made me laugh. And essentially, honestly, I don't think either of them really wanted to get married. I think both of them were very at the, I want to be with you. I don't want to rush into getting married. Like, I just want to be with you. And that's definitely the vibe, because they were like very weirdly chill, both of them. Kind of about it. Like, there was a few tears, as you expect, because it was like emotionally intense situation, but for the most part they were pretty chill. So Bobby and Jasmine, right before the wedding, mom says some things, some of which are hurtful and would ultimately sow some seeds of doubt, namely that she thinks that Jasmine likes Bobby more than he likes her, that he's broke and can't provide for a family. And I'm like, damn. Okay, shit.
Did she have makeup?
He had enough money for the drone shot in that music video. I don't know what he does.
Ooh, what's a good color that goes with green?
About people.
You think purple will go good with green?
So people know how to articulate. But they get up there and say yes. They actually get married. So I was right with that one. Wait, I'm right at 3 out of 4 right now. Okay, not bad. Benaya and Nicole, honestly, going into their wedding, neither of them look like they're ready to get married, but for some reason they both say yes. Okay. And then Catherine and Freddie says no. Thank God. Because again, that don't look like he wanted to be there. He doesn't look like he wanted to be on the show for the last like 6 episodes, dog. I wish he would have just said that earlier, but most of the people that end up not getting married definitely have this vibe of like, we definitely plan to keep dating. I will say, honestly, I don't think they should really be together. I think they've run their course. But yeah, 50% ain't bad. Half the couples got married. And at the time of recording this, the reunion isn't out yet. So I will... update you guys when the reunion is out. All right, this is voiceover Kenny for the updates as far as the reunion. Watched it yesterday as of recording this, and we definitely have some updates that I did not expect. First of all, Demi and Ollie did not end up getting back together, which I was confused about because I was like, they seemed like they would get back together, but they didn't. Essentially, Demi was like, he's a great guy, but he's not my guy. And I gotta remember that we don't see everything in relation to these relationships. So maybe, I mean, they would know best if that's the best decision for them. Shortly after that, he started seeing Charlotte with an S, the really hot girl that people kept throwing attention to for some reason. So maybe that's why, because they wanted us to know who she was when he started dating her. Well, they seem to be pretty vague about their relationship, him and her, but everybody seems to be on good terms. Demi's like, hey, maybe he wasn't my guy, but maybe he's Charlotte's guy, and everybody seems to be respectful in that regard. So good for them. Two, the thing that really shocked me the most, Sabrina and Steven are not together. Recall, they seem to be the most solid in their relationship. They seem to be really on the same accord, but goes to show, you know, time reveals things, and they ended up having to do long distance. They needed to do long distance between Ireland and London, and that seemed to have really dissolved their relationship and communication. I don't understand that, because like, we live in the time of FaceTime and phone calls and online calendar. I don't know. I understand. I've never been in a long distance relationship, so I'm really speaking out of turn. But I've had a lot of friends who have been in international long distance relationships. So I've witnessed people do the work or did the work to maintain that relationship until they were able to be in person with their partner. And I think, damn, y'all were together a year. And from what I understand, they separated within 4 months. Did you really try? I don't know. Another situation, we don't know the relationship, so maybe that is the best for them. And yeah, long distance isn't ideal, but I don't know. Again, I might be speaking out of turn. Comment down below on your opinions on that, but I really didn't see that coming. That was fascinating. Bobby and Jasmine are still together and happy. Didn't see that one coming either, but I'm, again, here to admit when I'm wrong.
Shit, the timer didn't go off. My pizza.
Around to it as well, so that's good.
Now it goes off when I don't even fucking need it.
They see insane. Amicable. Well, not really, because she goes into the frustration she felt after he had said no, because in his post interview, as she took it, he was insinuating that gender dynamics that she was raised with would be harmful to whatever child they end up having. That insinuated that my upbringing and how my parents raised me was not okay.
Like he was indirectly insulting my family. When it comes to raising my kids, I want to replicate what my mother has done, because she's raised kind kids, confident kids, kids who...
He sounds very closed-minded in a lot of ways. She sounds very closed-minded in a lot of ways. And they didn't have enough time to actually talk about that. I'm not surprised that it didn't work out. And it didn't seem that they were under the impression that that's something they really needed to hone in on, at least on camera. So whatever, it didn't work. That's fine. It didn't need to. But Naya and Nicole are still together. They seem happy. They bring out Sam, and people kind of confront him, but it's not really that great. He ends up chalking it all up to nerves, essentially, and it's very frustrating. It's very stupid and not satisfying at all. And finally, Freddie and Kat aren't together, but I think they're friends of some sort, or at least, again, amicable, so good for them. But as far as, you know, reunions go, this one was pretty anticlimactic, or wasn't that interesting. I wanted more fights. I'm used to that in the U.S. brand of stuff, but it seems that most of the issues that happen with couples happen off camera, which in real life ideal, but not great for reality TV, because I want it mess. But also, I respect y'all. Do what y'all need to do for y'all relationships. Okay, but yes, that's all for today, folks. How do you feel about all of this and the reunion that I've definitely watched as I'm speaking right now? But what are your feelings for the season? If you
I was gone.
What are your feelings from my videos? Feel free to put those down in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree
What
with me?
did she say? I missed a lot of it.
Again, here to admit when I'm wrong, and apparently her mom is coming around to it as well, so that's good. Tom and Maria are not back together, but they seem amicable. Well, not really, because she goes into the frustration she felt after he had said no, because in his post interview, as she took it, he was insinuating that gender dynamics that she was raised with would be harmful to whatever child they end up having. That insinuated that my upbringing and how my parents raised me was not okay.
Like he was indirectly insulting my family. When it comes to raising my kids, I want to replicate what my mother has done, because she's raised kind kids, confident kids, kids who...
He sounds very close-minded in a lot of ways. She sounds very close-minded in a lot of ways. And they didn't have enough time to actually talk about that. I'm not surprised that it didn't work out. And it didn't seem that they were under the impression that that's something they really needed to hone in on, at least on camera. So whatever, it didn't work. That's fine. I didn't need to. But Naya and Nicole are still together. They seem happy. They bring out Sam, and people kind of confront him, but it's not really that great. He ends up chalking it all up to nerves, essentially, and it's very frustrating. It's very stupid and not satisfying at all. And finally, Freddie and Kat aren't together, but I think they're friends of some sort, or at least, again, amicable, so good for them.
Here's my dark
as far as, reunions go, this one was pretty anticlimactic, or wasn't that interesting. I wanted more fights. I'm used to that in the U.S. brand of stuff, but it seems that most of the issues that happen with couples happen off camera, which in real life, ideal, but not great for reality TV, because I want it mess, but also, I respect y'all. Do what y'all need to do for y'all relationships. Okay. But yes, that's all for today, folks. How do you feel about all of this? And the reunion that I've definitely watched as I'm speaking right now. But what are your feelings for the season if you've watched it? What are your feelings from my videos? Feel free to put those down in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about? You should angrily leave me a comment about it. I think it would be kind of hot. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Send me things that you think I should watch. I did see a few things that have caught my attention. I did see several movies in theaters right now that just sound terrible for different reasons. I'm deciding whether or not I want to wait until they're streaming. I'll see. But the Colleen Hoover movie, It Ends With Us, which, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong has a new movie, and I hear it's terrible. Apparently The Crow, I don't know if that's out yet, but I heard that's exceptionally bad. I feel like people are making terrible movies just for me. I'm egocentric enough to believe that. It keeps things zesty, it keeps us alive. But yeah, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, nothing works on this acne.
Hi. Who? I'm a licensed dermatology provider from Curology. Answer a few questions, I'll look at your skin and prescribe you a personalized cream.
Wow! Curology. Skincare with a face.
Once this pizza's cold enough, I'm ending stream and devouring it. And devouring. And devouring. Yes, that's the right way.
We actually got a little video of this being assembled. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they do that. Wow, those mushrooms so glistening in the sun. Mmm, gnocchi. Yum, yum, yum. Wow, wasn't that video amazing? The mushroom gnocchi. Mmm, that is good. A lot of butter. Great mushroom, umami flavor. Texture gnocchi is nice. It's nice, it's comforting, it's filling, it's rich. I can't believe they make this on the street. I can't believe they make this out before the sun. If I keep eating this, I won't have much room for everything else. Let's keep going.
Try Guys merch is back. Starting with our new Second Try Essentials collection, get yourself the new hat.
A little refreshing lager, and boy, it's already quite hot, so this is lovely. Now, this po' boy is preposterously big. I love po' boys. They're one of my favorite sandwiches, if not my favorite sandwich genre. And this shrimp po' boy is burnt. How am I even supposed to eat this? I can do it. Keith, you can do it. Oh, it smells so good. The shrimp po' boy.
Ooh, I'd kill for not a hoagie, but Philly cheesesteak.
That's good. Ooh. Is there a little horseradish in that remoulade?
I'm trying to say buddy though. I'm trying to say buddy.
I'm a mess. But I'm having a po' boy. It's a poor boy sandwich. It's a working class sandwich. It's delicious. This is what I would order, especially in Florida. A big old po' boy sandwich. Come on now. Come on now. Okay, do you like po' boys?
Yeah.
You want to come and try? Good luck eating it. It's a four-hander.
So,
That's me a little shrimpy.
Yeah, it's really good.
I just taste like a little horse.
this is so good.
Pick of a horseradish.
It tastes a lot like a dipping sauce for fried onions. The beer, perfect. There's a little tiny bit of spice on this that builds, and this shuts it right down. Cools the mouth out. Cools the mouth right out. All right, let's go to the next place. But I'll be thinking about this sandwich for some time. We're at City Works, and Becky's here. Becky just got here. We're gonna have the pork belly burnt end tacos. It's got an orange barbecue sauce. It's got a key lime coleslaw. Sounds great to me. The pork belly burnt end tacos. I love this coleslaw.
A little heat on there.
There's sneaky heat. Sneaking around in the bottom of the taco lurks a little spice.
It's mostly coleslaw.
Yeah, and the coleslaw is
I kinda
delicious.
like. Really
The
good.
whole thing is actually kind of on the cold side,
Yeah.
but in a really refreshing way, and then the spice keeps it warm. The pork is very fatty. The sauce is great, but the coleslaw, the key lime coleslaw is so good. Oh, there's full jalapenos in there. That's why it's hot. I was like, why is it so hot?
It's just a green pepper.
Really? I don't have jalapeno. Isn't it? Eat it.
No, you eat it.
You eat
Not
it.
taste it.
You're so sure. I knew it. I know what jalapenos look like, even when they're sliced.
It was a jalapeno. My bad.
These chips are thick.
These are thick.
What kind of
They're like
cardstock is that?
No, I think
This is the
yellow.
nicest,
Yeah, yellow.
hard thickness you'd ever
Shit.
receive in your life.
I'd be pissed if I
little-
ripped this.
This chip is so big.
It's a really good tomatillo. The chip is a little,
Thick.
it's a little Texas size.
It's big.
Yeah.
That was the thickest chip I've ever had.
It's tasty, refreshing.
It's got a little bit of heat on it.
Mm-hmm.
A little spicy for heat. I'm starting to cry. It's a little bit from the heat, a little bit from staring at this big old white tent behind the camera that is blinding me this side.
It's a light.
I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the circle of it all, it's the tent.
Ooh, yeah. That had a little
Woo!
pizzazz.
Well, that's pizzazz.
Pizzazz. Oh.
You know what else has pizzazz? Bowling!
What color am I looking for?
I guess we should split.
Oh, didn't I already have
Grammarly
that?
now uses AI
Where'd I-
to help you write, not
Look at
just
some-
revise.
Oh my god, I don't give a fuck about AI.
Spare me your groans.
You are talking to the
You're
enemy.
striking out.
Alright, we're at Splitsville, and actually I'm going to let you know that something went wrong with the sound card on this part, so I'm going to talk through what I thought of the dishes. This is the jalapeno popper shrimp, which was honestly kind of odd sounding, but we were more interested in this funny little gummy alligator. I say that he's quite adorable. We start with a mango spritz. I don't always like mango things, but that's so light, and it must be really light because I used my hands to convey brightness, which is a fun choice that I made in that moment. I thought it was a good amount of mango, and Becky liked it well enough, but was more interested in the gummy, which she really enjoyed. I then talk about how alligators are always sunning on the banks in Florida. And then I have a little gummy, and I like it too. But what I'm really interested in is this jalapeno popper shrimp. It's got jalapeno cream cheese, it's got lime zest all over it. What if a jalapeno popper, a shrimp, and a crab rangoon had a baby? Because that is what I'm getting. It had great jalapeno flavor, not spicy, and shockingly, I even say I could use more jalapeno. And although you can't hear it, the whole room reacted. And maybe it's because with the backwards hat, I'm hot teeth. But I can imagine bowling, a strike, turning around, shoving one of these in my mouth, and fully just levitating into heaven. And then we have water. It's time to bowl, baby. We're bowling. Oh boy. Yes, Becky.
Nice! Oh, this is the one. This is the one.
Here you go, Kaylin.
Kaylin, welcome to Victory Club.
Sorry, I'm trying to like.
Okay. There we go.
We're in Splitsville.
What? Oh. I don't know. Is this the dance? Yeah, it's all you do. I just started hot to go. I literally did hot to go the first time.
All right, Quasi.
Yo,
Now, when you think of Florida,
talk to me, Keith.
do you ever get reminded of Atlanta?
Oh, no.
Well,
what?
if we were in Atlanta, what's made in Atlanta?
Peaches.
Great answer.
Yes.
What else is made in Atlanta?
Crunk music. Let me see, Little Scrappy.
What beverage?
The Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola.
Oh, wow.
They got a Coca-Cola store. We're gonna have some Coca-Cola.
Say word.
They got a bunch of different ones. But before we get there, we got some food trucks we got to hit up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're at the cilantro food truck. We got some Cuban sandwiches, and just take a look at this thing.
Bless up yourself.
Bless up yourself. The plantain. Mmm,
Very good.
crispy.
Very good.
Banana chips. Different kind of banana.
No notes.
No notes.
No notes.
Tasty. How's that little sauce?
Fantastic.
The Cuban sandwich.
That is nothing but, that's not dry. That is moisty.
Since no one's
That is
here,
nice and juicy. Because
and I'm-
oh my gosh.
I forced myself to draw anyways. Since no one's here and I don't want to draw. Oh, damn.
And it's not like a mono flavor. It's like
Bye.
multiple flavors. You're picking through pick